Great careers are not accidents, they're journeys built through clarity and intent. In every industry, there are such journeys that reveal true leadership, sacrifice, risk, and purpose. I'm Dirk Horn, and this is The Pitch and the Catch, where we dive into choices, changes, and the careers they create. Welcome. Hi everyone. Today we're joined by Bhadresh Sutaria. Bhadresh is the president of AMSOIL Inc., a company known for engineering high-performance synthetic lubricants in markets where customers care deeply about reliability, credibility, and proof over time. His career spans manufacturing, chemicals, logistics, technology, and education with a consistent focus on building businesses where trust matters as much as performance. At AMSOIL, that shows up in leading an organization built on technical excellence and ethical standards in an industry where being right is not enough if customers do not believe you yet. This conversation is about leadership, when high performance alone does not win, when doing the right thing requires repetition and discipline, and when credibility is built one decision in one conversation at a time. Bhadresh, it is my utmost pleasure. Welcome to The Pitch and the Catch. It is great to have you on the show.
Dirk, it's glad to be on the show and look forward to our conversation.
Yes, same here. So let's get right into it. So AMSOIL I want to talk about your journey from CFO to CEO. I want to talk about AMSOIL's position in the market and your tactical and strategical challenges, of course. But at the start, I always want to make a connection between what you do and people's daily lives. AMSOIL is known to car enthusiasts and people in areas where high-performance synthetic lubricant is important. So for our listeners who may not be familiar with you yet, how do you usually explain what you actually do, you and your company, and where your products show up in people's lives?
Yeah, so we are focused on performance and protection. And what we do, we were the inventors of synthetic motor oil. Back in 1972, our founder, who was a fighter pilot for U.S. Air Force, saw the benefits of synthetic lubricants for the fighter jets and started thinking about the automotives. And he came up with the first synthetic lubricants for automotives back in 1972. And started promising people that you don't need to change your oil every 3,000 miles, which was a norm at that time. And he straight went for 25,000 miles. Even today, AMSOIL used to be the only one. Now it's one of the very few lubricant providers who warranties its products for 25,000 mile oil change because of its confidence in the quality of products and how it protects the equipment and how it enhances the performance. We were the first ones to come out with synthetic motor oil. Then it was the same thing with synthetic oil for the motorbikes and for the snowmobiles and for the diesel. And there's endless number of firsts that AMSOIL came to market with. We still continue to do the same. We have a dominant market position in wind turbine lubricants in North America and one of the leading wind turbine lubricant providers all over the world. We provide gear oils, hydraulic, metalworking fluids for all kinds of industries. And in addition to automotive and internal combustion engine related products, we continue to expand on industrial and metalworking side as we speak.
So I understand that there's everything that moves, and it could be my snowmobile, although I don't have that in New Jersey, but it could be my car. So that expansion into industrial, what sort of product would this be?
These would be, as I said, wind turbine gearbox lubricants.
Understood.
In North America, we have close to 50% market share.
Wow.
About 17 years ago, that market share was zero.
Yeah.
We just came out with much better product. We understood our customers and their needs and how a better lubricant would serve them better. And as a result, close to 50% of all wind turbines in North America run on AMSOIL as of today. And that's just an example. Same thing with stamping machines at automotive manufacturers, be it Ford, be it General Motors, be it Tesla. And it goes on like that for gear oils, hydraulics, compressors, diesel gensets, and all.
See, I've done a lot of tours through automotive plants. So when you say stamping, so I understand. So this is basically a completely different kind of machine than my car but they have, of course, there's oil in there. So for the so to finish up on this very, very first initial question that I always have, what do we do that an average person could experience? So it's basically, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So they go to a garage and the garage says, you need an oil change. Is that a place where a customer could say, I want to have the AMSOIL product or a synthetic lubricant?
Yes, so our distribution model is different. Very
Okay.
initially, when we came out, people didn't understand synthetic oil. This is back in 1972. That wasn't even a phrase being used in people's lives. Synthetic meant polyester, and it didn't carry
Yes.
the image of high quality. We had to fight that. So we went through direct distribution through people who are mechanics, people who are mechanically oriented, and they would explain to people why this would make their equipment better protected and perform better. And so we stopped being sold through big box retailers long time ago. And we stuck with that. So you can't go to Walmart or Costco and buy AMSOIL.
Hmm.
We have one of the best e-commerce capabilities in our industry. So you can go on Google and type motor oil and we'll show up as one of the top choices. And independently, if you look at how people have rated us, we are the highest rated motor oil by thousands and thousands of people. All online, all without us prompting, because that's how much they care about what we do, how we make our oil, and how we keep our promises. And
Yes.
so people can go online, click on AMSOIL, and in 2 days, wherever they've given an address to, the product will show up. So with COVID and with growth of e-commerce, AMSOIL distribution became ubiquitous. You don't have to go to a retailer to buy. You can get it at your doorstep. And we are also available. We maintain a very good website with
Yep.
best in class lookup guide. Actually, it's interesting. Our competitors use our lookup guide. We know who uses that. We track it. And because we have best in class lookup guide, you can look up your vehicle by make and model. You can look it up by VIN number. You can look it up by license plate. You can even take a picture of your license plate and it'll tell you exactly what oil you need, what are your choices, best, better, good. We don't go below good, and what filters will be needed with it. And then you can say, I want an oil change, press a button, and the entire oil change kit will be delivered to where you want it to be. So if you're
I,
a do-it-yourselfer, that's great. If you are choose it yourself and have somebody else do it for you, that's great as well, because you can take the product with you and go to any oil change shop and tell them this is what you want, and they'll do it for you.
So I just took you up on this. So I typed in motor oil brand because motor oil nothing much came up, and it actually yes, exactly what you're saying. It lists AMSOIL and the top tier, without me asking for AMSOIL, and it says AMSOIL known. I mean I think that's the AI overview, known for ultra long drain intervals and robust protection.
And we didn't feed that to AI. That is what people talk about us. So do we, but
Yes.
we back up our claims with evidence. We have one of the better mechanical labs in the industry. Anytime we put anything out there, we test it way beyond.
Last question regarding the consumer, and I didn't because you're a privately owned company. What percentage is the consumer portion about? So in terms of the average car running around of your business. So is this half your business? Is the big portion? Is this an element of your business? I'm just curious.
It's more than half our business. That's how we started. About 15 years ago, we expanded into other areas. We've had a couple of acquisitions. We went into metalworking and grease over last 3 years, and we continue to expand on industrial side on top of consumer side of the business. And on consumer side of the business, we obviously sell directly throughout North America, but through our distributors, our products are available in over 95 countries.
95 countries. And in terms of because you mentioned the distribution model. So I personally would not think about the synthetic lubricant. I mean, I don't know. I was taught in the 80s that I should be using synthetic lubricant. So that quality development as a quality product that didn't take long to take a hold. So it's in my head. I need a synthetic oil. I know it's going to be more expensive, but it's better for my car. What I would not do though is I would not, as a regular driver, I would not order an oil kit and take that oil to my shop. And my car's just been to the shop and they had a liqui moly sign on the side. I randomly noticed it, not because we talked about it, because I saw my car and had the liqui moly sign. Does this not limit your distribution model if probably the shop would need to order with you? Because I can see the average consumer doing research and order their own oil. Or is that what is happening?
So more people who are enthusiasts, more people who are focused on protecting their equipment. And as you know, average car price in US by recent
50,000 at the moment.
yes, it's $50,000.
Yes.
And so people want to use their cars for 10 years or longer.
Yes.
130, 150,000 miles is becoming a norm, which 30 years ago, nobody thought about that. Now it's pretty much a norm. These are highly engineered equipment. And so more and more people, so it's an interesting situation where overall lubricant market is shrinking a little bit because of newer technologies. Now you get 6-cylinder cars that have higher horsepower than what used to be 8-cylinder cars with much larger sumps. They have smaller sumps now. So overall, and the oil lasts longer because, as you said, synthetic oil, it lasts longer, longer drain interval. When you combine all of that, the overall oil demand in North America is shrinking by about 3%.
Uh-huh.
We are growing far in excess of that. So we are definitely taking market share. And that's happening. We have worthy competitors, be it Liqui Moly or others. They make good products. We just make better products. And we're proud of that. And we are willing to put our product in comparison to anybody in the world. Not to put them down. As I said, they make good products. They are worthy competitors. And we respect them. That said, we stand on strength of our products and on strength of our commitment, winning our customers over again and again through delivering the value to them. That's what we do.
Uh-huh.
And that's what helps us win. And that's what helps us gain market share. Are we the biggest? No. But we look at many companies in our world. And anytime we are looking at top 5, top 7 lubricant brands in the world, AMSOIL is mentioned in one of them.
Yes.
Vast majority of others are many times larger than us. We are mentioned in the same breath with respect by our competitors. That matters to us. We take great pride in that. And we punch way above our weight class, so to say. And we keep winning so far. And we
Yeah.
expect.
So first off, I know you have this a strong technical position, but lubricant is a commodity in itself because I'd say you said there's a few that would give a guarantee, but this means there are competitors. So AMSOIL is not the only product out there. So customers have a choice. So you need
Absolutely.
to
They have a choice.
they have a choice. And I'm trying to understand because you said we're winning our customers over by delivering the value. Now, when any machine that has lubricant fails, it's not necessarily a single cause that you can say it was the lubricant or not. Same as when a machine is running for, a certain amount of time or kilometers, you can pinpoint it to the lubricant. So that delivering the value to the customer, how is this exactly happening? So what I understand is you have your e-commerce and supply chain really geared towards being fast and reliable. I think that is one part of the equation
Absolutely.
because value is, hey, I need it. And you are like, yeah, you will have it tomorrow or the day after. How would your customers and you as a consequence would define value, measurable value?
Yeah. So it's the entire end-to-end experience, right?
End-to-end experience.
Yeah. So you talked about I talked about ordering.
Yes.
You go online, you tested it, 2 clicks, you can order. I talked about lookup guide. We make it easy. You don't have to be an expert. We even give you best, better, good. And we don't make any product that's not good. If it's not good, we don't make it.
Yeah.
So, but we give you choices depending on your preferences and your driving patterns. And we also tell you exactly what filter will go with it depending on what you're ordering. At the highest end, we design our own filters because what's available in the market is not good enough. We also can give you reference to if you want AMSOIL oil change, where can you go? If you want personalized service, we have a network of over 20,000 dealers who can contact you and work with you to give you personalized service only if you choose to. And from that point onwards, we also provide what is called preferred customer relationship, which then reduces your price versus MSRP by as much as 25%.
Okay.
It's kind of a loyalty program. And with that, and we have AMSOIL app, and you can be a part of that, and it will provide you lots of other ongoing useful information. So it's not one oil change and come a year later another oil change. We provide you antifreeze. We provide you
Mm.
entire set of car care products. Anything that carries AMSOIL name has to be a best-in-class product.
So
And
with
we build
yeah,
a
go ahead. No.
relationship with you. We have something called My AMSOIL Garage. You can register your vehicle or multiple vehicles or multiple equipment. Some of them may not be vehicles in My AMSOIL Garage, and we will remind you what you need, when you need, how to take care of your equipment. We will provide you tech tips on all kinds of things. Most of them are video clips, so they're very user friendly. You can actually look at them and apply it in your life. And so this is how we build a relationship. So it's not a transaction, it's a relationship.
But by the way, I'm excited by all of this. So while you're explaining this to me, I've just put my car in and it gives me the AMSOIL oil. It's almost I'm regretting because I had an oil change a few weeks back. I'm regretting we didn't have this podcast earlier. So I have you. I don't know what they put in. I'll have to ask them. Maybe it was AMSOIL. Who knows? After all. But that's a very what I'm looking at. That is a very very neat online process. It even offers that you can top up a quart. It gives me the car. It is a very neat process. Basically, Bhadresh, what you're doing is you're building an ecosystem around your customers, as I understand.
We are building an ecosystem. It's not just a product, it's an experience. And it's
Yes.
not just a transaction, it's a relationship. And that's how we differentiate ourselves.
Because here's the do I have this somewhere? I mean, there's a bit of advertising on my own. So I just published this book. It starts with the whole idea of customer experience and ecosystem. That and then go somewhere else because that's been discussed. But that's not something that's been established for decades. This is something that came up in the last 10. So also with the risk of giving you a compliment, which I happily do at every point, you are in a traditional business, oil. It's machines and oils, is classic industrial, as industrial as it comes. But apparently the language I'm listening and when I'm listening to you, but the language is very recent and very modern. There's a lot of service companies that don't even have that language yet.
So, AMSOIL has had an enlightened management. If somebody walked through our plant, and there are plenty of videos of our plant, so it's not a secret. We share it joyfully. All our competitors walk through our plant. I don't want to name them, but just about pick your choice of names, and they've all walked through our plants. And they all leave with a bit of an amazement because it's an oil plant that is so clean that you cannot find a drop of oil or a drop of dirt or anything on the plant floor anywhere because it's all about total quality for us. Keeping a clean plant, having organized processes, having if our delivery track record is 90%, we are not happy. If our end-to-end performance is in 90s, we are not happy. We are constantly working to make it flawless. And the language that we internally use, the management team that we have, highly initiated, highly exposed to most modern environments, including, as I said, advanced e-commerce. And we are benefiting of because of this in industrial market. You would not believe when our salespeople go to sell an industrial product, lubricant,
Mhm.
to a manufacturing company, they walk in, it's not a hard sell because many of those who are at the buying end are using AMSOIL in their personal lives because they know who we are. They know what our commitment to excellence is. And they immediately say, that's what you're bringing to the industrial side.
Mm.
It's not a hard sell. We
Yeah.
then have to just explain how it will benefit them, but they believe us because it's an earned reputation. We've earned it over last 53 years.
The I like this a lot. Question the clean plant, the total quality, organized processes, the delivery on time. How do you and the whole commitment to excellence? What's your process of keeping everyone focused and the energy high?
So we have a fairly decent strategic planning process.
Hmm.
We started on that. I mean, we've always had good plans, but we started on a very structured process back in 2017.
Hmm.
That was within a year plus of my joining. And we started initially using a process that Procter& and Gamble has used for quite some time. From there, now we have graduated to what is known as Hoshin Connery process. So OGSM was the process we started with: objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. And from that, we moved to, so if you could see, I haven't mentioned money yet.
Yes.
This is the
No, you
first time
haven't.
I even uttered the word.
And you're a CFO by training.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
Because profits are an out. You do things right, profits will come. If you focus on profits and drive your action by that, then that may not last. That's not lasting value creation. Because your customers are not, or all your stakeholders are not waking up every morning thinking, let's help AMSOIL make more. They wake up thinking how they're going to make their lives better.
Yes.
And if we participate in that journey and constantly add great value, we'll be rewarded with business. And if we do that business right, we will make more profit. So the underlying philosophy is not around profit. Underlying philosophy is around value. And our entire strategic planning process is focused on that. We are a mission and values driven company. Internally, we talk about profit once a month at a monthly meeting. We talk about value. We talk about mission. We talk about customers many times a day. That's a constant. And if we do that right, then the business world and the consumer world rewards us with.
I can see this in the collection of everything you said, how that keeps the energy high. It's half a repetitive question, but the average person that works at AMSOIL, if you ask them in the morning, why did you get up today? It's a work day. Of course, for the weekends, it might be family. Why did you get up today? Make yourself to work. What would the average person at AMSOIL say?
To add value to our customers. I mean, we are very, I mean, if I were to just straight out read from our mission statement, and we debated every word, by the way, so it's not an accident.
Yeah.
And the debate was not around what we should say, but the debate was around, does this exactly parlay who we are?
Yes.
That's it. And our mission statement says, we are driven to earn the loyalty of every customer by engineering innovative lubricant solutions and investing in expertise to deliver the performance they've been promised and the satisfaction they deserve. We live by this. We literally drive all our actions through this.
You even know it off by heart.
So this is what we do. This is who we are.
Yeah. And you can, and that's the leadership portion. If you as a sponsor believe in it, then that transcends in the organization. And if you make
Yes.
sure it happens at every intersection.
Our founder founded the company with that mindset. And our chairman and CEO, who is the current 100% owner of the company, Alan Amatuzio,
Yeah.
he exudes this. He's an extremely enthusiastic person in this belief. Anytime he talks to anybody, it just comes out.
Beautiful. I did my research before we talked. So the mission, and I think you just said it, we're driven to earn the loyalty of every customer by engineering innovative lubricant solutions and investing in expertise to deliver the performance they've been promised and the satisfaction they deserve. That is a beautiful mission.
And it's a mission it's in words now, but it's a mission we've been on for 53 years. As I
Yes.
said, our founder was a Top Gun fighter pilot for US Air Force, and he put his life on line for the country, and then he put 100% commitment in building this business with these values.
Speaking of the founder, I do remember I have a chapter that didn't make it in my latest book. I looked at companies that, like you, are vision, mission driven or mission and values driven. And to a striking amount, they go back to a founder. And you can think Apple, which is always the easiest, but even Google goes back to Sergey and Larry. Then there is Microsoft, of course, Bill Gates, and so on. Currently still in business is the whole Elon Musk empire, and so on and so forth. Even Trader Joe's goes back to a founder, his name was Joe Colomb, and many more. To what extent is that spirit of the founder, that spirit, not that, I mean, he's still chairman and CEO, I know, I understood, but that spirit that he brought in, to what extent is that important in the daily conduct of people in the shop?
It's what we did through mission and values is we codified that spirit. We actually reward employees. We give them awards for demonstrating AMSOIL values. Our values are focused on what I call spirit of determination. We punch above our weight class. Keep fighting. That fighter spirit is alive and well every day. A commitment to the customers. For us, customer satisfaction matters more than a sale. And that's not empty words. We would let a sale go. We would take a hit on profit. We will make sure our customers get the value they deserve. Culture of collaboration and professionalism, foundation of expertise and innovation. We would not dabble into anything unless we have a level of expertise. And that means if we had to hire resources to develop expertise first, we would do so. We would, anytime a customer comes back with an anomaly, we jump into it. And we not only solve for them, vast majority of the times, they start realizing the anomaly is an advantage. They don't see that with others that they see with us because we have engineered our products to deliver excellence. And so when they compare it to others, they say, well, I see this or I see that. And then we would say, okay, let's jump into it. So we had that situation with wind turbine greases for the main bearings. And they came back and said, we are seeing this getting a little liquefied. We don't see that with other lithium-based greases. And we said, okay. We spent very large amount of resources. I don't want to get into that. And we went back with the proof that actually it's a feature. Because what it does is it keeps your bearings fully lubricated through the life of that grease, versus others solidify. And then if you look at it after a certain amount of time, the lubricating film is not there anymore. So guess what? This is actually a characteristic. It's not an anomaly. And it gives better protection to your equipment, which is a multi-million-dollar equipment. Same kind of thought process pretty much in everything we do, end-to-end experiences.
So the strategic question I have, apparently companies thrive when they are in a learning curve. And apparently you've created a wonderful learning curve. In terms of the e-commerce, I'm very impressed. You do advanced e-commerce. Your website is very impressive. You're using the founder's value to take them into the future. Now you're going industrial. So is industrial the next learning curve for your organization, or where's that next big mountain to climb?
I would not call it a mountain to climb, but I'm sure you've come across science of growth.
Yes.
Václav Smil and others. I mean, there are several known experts in what is known as science of growth. So in science of growth, S-curves matter, right? So I'll use your phrases, learning curve. So when you are on an accelerated learning curve is when you are on the steeper slope of that.
Correct.
That's where the growth comes.
I agree.
Industrial is the next vertical expansion of the growth. So internal combustion engine will continue to excel. And we are learning there every day. And the newer technologies, GF7, potentially GF8, all that is coming out. We are already working on not today's standards, but future standards. But that's kind of our core expertise. That's what we've been doing for 50 plus years.
So
we are now starting to do the same thing on industrial. So we are going to come out with something on robotic greases that's going to save such a significant amount of time and effort and protect the robotic arms at automotive plants and at large distribution centers and large service centers. We are also combining products with equipment. so that we are providing solutions. And I don't want to go too far. We have not publicly announced this yet, but it's coming out very soon. And we already have advance orders from the likes of General Motors and Tesla and others, and Toyotas, such that what we will be working with them as direct suppliers is to solve for the effective operation of their businesses, not just, I got grease for robots. Yeah, I got grease for robots, but that doesn't solve your problem.
Agreed.
I can now have an applicator. I can now have a process. I can now have measurement systems. I can provide you end-to-end solution. So you can focus on what you are the best at.
Yes. And in terms of the learning curve, what does your organization have to continue to learn in order to be successful with industrial?
It is this, what people are looking for is solutions. People are not looking for products. So we are coming out with what we call works programs. These works programs, these are registered trademarks, and one can find it on our website. So I'm not giving out trade secrets here. But these works programs are all solution driven. So grease works, chem works, fluid works, each of them are not just giving you, here is a product, but they are then giving you things around sensors, things around testing, things around solutioning, things around support. So now you have a full solution. You have a partner who you can depend on, who basically, once you partner with us, you stop worrying. You focus on what your strength is, which we can't claim. That's your strength as a customer. That's how you win. But then we got your back when it comes to using our products and protecting your equipment and expecting the performance from the equipment that allows you to move at full speed. So that's pretty much what we are doing on industrial side as well.
Mhm. Okay, that's I have two more aspects that I want to cover. No, here's the thing. Oh no, I lost my train of thought because I was already in the next. You mentioned Procter and Gamble. You started with the OGSM process, and then you morphed into something that I have to admit I don't know. Hoshin,
Hoshin Kanri, that is
I,
all these
I,
Japanese concepts. But what it does is it then aligns all these things to execution, right?
yes,
Because we know that strategy that is not executed well, it's not
the
much.
the L the value lies in the execution, not in the brilliance of the ideas.
Exactly. So Hoshin Kanri is a process that focuses on effective execution. So it then takes your objectives and goals and strategic initiatives and measures and then converts them into action plans. And then we use tools to execute on those action plans. And each of these are supported by a sponsor and a champion and a leader and the teams. And then we evaluate resourcing levels so that we are not overburdening the environment. And then we work very hard. That's the hardest thing for us to do, is to say, what are we not?
Yes, that is the often is misunderstood. The magic of strategy is not to decide about the 500 things that are going to do, but decide the 500 things we're not going to do and pick the one thing that we're going to do.
So that's always something we focus on.
So, well, yeah, excellent. And I do have to admit, I'll research that method. It sounds familiar, and there's so many methods out there, but it sounds like a method that works beautifully for you. So you're using those, you're using values, mission. And if we just go by the technical, leading Harvard business model, what's the vision for AMSOIL? Vision as in the definition, if you go with the Harvard model, like on a 5-year plan, and I'm also okay with 10 years because you have a long-term perspective on the horizon. Where's AMSOIL gonna be in 5 or 10 years as a vision in terms of what we can see?
Yeah. So that is something that as a private company, we kind of hold back a little bit on. We have
Yep.
internal vision, very
Oh,
clear internal vision.
oh,
We have a board of advisors. We are a private company owned by one individual, but we have a board of advisors, and we majority of the members are independent board members, and we discuss at length with them. We have growth waterfalls. Every one of these things is converted into action plans. Then we build long range plans. So then we get into, here is the revenue level that is driven by these initiatives. How are we going to make sure we have the capacity? How are we going to make sure we have the not just the physical or plant capacity, but distribution capabilities? And we have the people capabilities, and we have the processes. And how are we ensuring that we stay on top of the technology curve? We are already working on AI solutions. We are already working on robotics and staying on top of the entire long range plan that supports our strategic initiatives, that support our broader mission and values is a continuous process. And we talk about it and look at it as a leadership team on an ongoing basis.
Understood. I think I know where you're going, and I have a very good understanding of the things that you described. But for the average listener who's not in strategy and company management the entire time, who looks at this, it almost seems a little bit too perfect, Bhadresh. You seem to have the perfect answer for everything. Secondly, hold on, second, and I'm smiling a little bit, so it's a little bit provocative. And secondly, is it still fun to work at AMSOIL?
It is the most fun job I've had. We have people can go through my profile on LinkedIn.
Yes.
It's reasonably updated. I've had some significant roles in
Yes.
some highly respected companies. This is the most fun job I've ever had. I don't focus on quarterly earnings. We do very well, don't get me wrong. I don't focus on that. Our focus is on doing the right thing, and that's always fun. When you get up in the morning and your thought is, how are we going to do the right thing? It's extremely energizing. When you go and work with people who have similar mindset, that further builds the energy. It's a virtuous circle at that time. And let me tell you, things are not always perfect. Okay. What works well is if we see an issue, we constantly go after it, solve for it, make it better, be transparent, and commit ourselves to do better. Some of our challenges are dealing with growth. It's a first class problem to have, but it doesn't allow for perfection because
Agree.
growth does not happen in an absolutely planned manner. So if you think you're going to grow at 5% and you suddenly grow at 12%, what do you do now? You are stressing your systems, you are stressing your capabilities, you are stressing your capacity across the board, and you still want to absolutely maintain your commitment to quality and your commitment to customer satisfaction. How do you do that? So if there are things that keep me on my toes. Those would be the kind of things that keep me on my toes. If I have conversations with my management team, more often than not, these are the kind of things that we talk about.
Yes.
How do we deal with the challenge of growth and do so in a sustainable way so that it's not growth one year, it's growth year after year after year after year. I'm pleased to say AMSOIL has had 30 plus years of consecutive. And if anything, we are catching the steeper end of the S curve. Our growth is accelerating, not slowing down. And that brings its own challenges.
It does.
Challenges, but the challenges nonetheless.
Yeah. No, they're good challenges to have, but we know from research if you grow too fast and you don't build the structure underneath, it's not sustainable.
So we are constantly building towards how do we grow in a sustainable.
Excellent. Last part of what I wanted to discuss with you today. You are a trained CFO and you've basically been on the finance side of things. At least that's how I read it. And the MSOIL position seems to be this is where you made the real switch from the CFO to the general management side of things. What does it mean to switch from being the CFO to being the CEO or the president or the general manager? Titles don't matter. It's the responsibility you carry.
That's right. So it's been a great journey. If somebody went far back in my career, I started my career not in finance. Actually, I started my career as a member of supply chain reengineering.
Here we go.
And as part of supply chain reengineering team, we were looking at the business end to end. And we were doing market segmentation, customer segmentation, product segmentation, prioritization, value chain analysis. That started for me in my very first job at Monsanto. And so while I've had more stints as CFO for better part of my career, I've had significant experience in technology, implementing ERPs, CRMs, designing performance management systems. I've been doing that for a better part of my life. Many times as a CFO, where I would be leading these efforts or championing them for the company or organization, but they've been at the foundation of what I've done. And value creation has always been the foundation. So Business transformation, I've gone through multiples of those, led multiples of those. And yes, financial outcomes would matter, but that's not how we start business transformation. It is always driven by value.
Mhm.
And then you figure out way to capture your share of that value. And that's where money comes in. But end of the day, if you're not creating value, you're not going to be able to. Suppose you have monopolistic environment for a short while, you can capture extraordinary value. It doesn't last. Eventually, competition will come in and you're going to lose that unless you're creating sustained value. And that has pretty much been, I mean, even back when I was at Roadway, we went through a business transformation, and I was the operating CFO, so kind of COO mindset. Same at Pearson. So consistently, I've been in that operating CFO, COO mode, and I made that transition to the president role. Some of what I now enjoy is creating future leadership, building a leadership ladder, building deeper relationships, and being able to put strategy in action. And that's satisfying and enjoyable.
And that would have been one of my last question in terms of what legacy are you building? And I think you've just started to go into this.
The legacy I'm building is that the day I step down, and we all age, and so do I, and we all have other objectives in
Happens to the
life.
best of us.
Yes. And we have other objectives in life. And so my succession has to be such that my presence is remembered, my absence is not felt.
Mm.
I've built a sustained energy and sustained powerhouse of an environment that when I step away from full time leadership role, the momentum continues. There are people, I cannot predict future opportunities and future challenges. I can predict a bit, but the world changes in ways and at speed that it would be foolish to assume that I can predict. But I can definitely build an organization with talent that sustains beyond and that can continue to excel. That those values, that mission, that commitment, and our people promise to our people that will allow us to continue to sustain the momentum well beyond.
Beautiful. Is there a question that I didn't ask, but you were like, I hope Dirk's going to ask that question, or something that you wanted to talk about?
How culture matters is
Uh,
critical.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that constantly keeps me focused and awake and engaged, together with our owner, chairman, and CEO, is continuing to build the culture. And it's a very interesting process because as we grow, we were assessing that 60%, and a lot of it is driven by growth and a couple of acquisitions and some retirements. We do good retaining people, but
Mhm.
as we grow, our resource needs grow, and 60% of our employees have joined us after COVID or after beginning COVID. In COVID, people went home. Vast majority of our people went home also outside of manufacturing and distribution.
Yes.
And they work remotely. How do you maintain the kind of culture we have while people are in hybrid work environment, while people work remotely? And this is where our focus on values matters. We celebrate our values. We award people. We recognize people for our values. We make it a point to discuss our values at each of our meetings or each of our gatherings at every level of the organization, including morning huddles on each team. Because how do we maintain that culture that allows us to perform at the level at which we do and continue to do so for foreseeable future? That is something that's kind of AMSOIL's secret sauce. It's the culture. When we bring people in for values. Yes, we want them to know technical skills, but technical skills can be taught. We want them to have the right values. So we hire for values and we focus on building those as a team so that we can continue to deliver the value to our customers.
I do have to admit, I had the question of how do you hire people on my mind about half an hour ago, but after listening to you, I know I actually knew your answer already. I have to admit that it is like if you maintain a culture like, or let's say this, a corporation, because culture is part of the corporation. But if you're maintaining a corporation like the one that you've explained, it doesn't work without the right culture. And what
Absolutely.
and what we know from all successful companies, they hire for fit and culture. Of course, there's got to be basic skills, but
Obviously.
technical skills can be taught. But if someone doesn't appreciate the way we do things around here, you can't force that into them, and you shouldn't.
So that would be the last thing I would say, that
It's beautiful. As I said, I'd love to continue talking, but we had such a rich conversation. So basically, that wraps up our conversation with Bhadresh. A thoughtful look at what leadership really requires when you compete in a commodities market. We talked about it. And I think this is something that I've learned from you today, but you refuse to act like a commodity. I think this is something that stood out amazingly for me. You and I talked about putting the customer at the center, and I was very impressed with and for the lack of a better term, the modern knowledge that you're bringing to in fact, a very traditional business. So that we've talked about apps, ecosystems, relationships, experience, and providing an experience versus not a transaction. This is for a lot of industrial companies still a cutting edge process to go through. As such, the conversation is a powerful reminder that I have to say that even in very competitive environments, values, process, approach, discipline, mission, it all matters. It's when everything comes together is where success is built. And then, as Bhadresh said, as you said, it's the profits that follow that process. It doesn't start with the profits is the result. Leaves me to say, Bhadresh, thanks a lot for the clarity, perspective, the insights, and you've seen me writing down and using the internet a lot today, especially on the methods we've discussed. And so the generosity you brought to this conversation is highly appreciated. I deeply enjoyed it.
And it's been a pleasure talking to you, Dirk. I've seen other podcasts that under Pitch and Catch you have put out there. They are very high class podcasts. So
Very kind.
really
Thank you.
appreciate the opportunity for this conversation.